Hi, once again, this is Campbell librarian Steve Bonneman here to talk about the types of articles you will find when doing library research for literary criticism in English 102. In this case, we're ending with the traditional critical article. That's going to be our final look at an article here, but this is the perhaps archetype of the most common type of article you'll find. That is an article that analyzes one aspect of the single source you're looking at, but does so in depth. And in this case, they have a really nice example of a they say, I say style thesis. That is, they will weigh in on what other critics have said and then say that they disagree. In this case, they believe that people have interpreted Montresor as insane in the story or don't really understand his motive, but this author believes that you're supposed to be able to figure out his motive from some of the content of the story. So she brings in an analysis of Poe using her own words, but goes a little far beyond what you might know as a novice. So in some cases, you're going to encounter stuff like this where she talks about, in the middle of this page, Russian formalist criticism. It's okay if you don't know what that means. You can kind of just keep going and see the parts that do register with you. This is still a 100 level freshman class. She does discuss her thesis there, and then uses a metaphor, a detective metaphor, to analyze the story, and then uses a lot of other authors. This is a good pattern for you to follow. She says, this person says this, and this is the argument they make, but here's what I'm going to say too. Beyond that, I have much to scroll through because another of my notes is much further down. Here we go. It's really helpful sometimes to find summing up quotes. Here she sums up a couple of paragraphs worth of information by saying, in other words, the conflict between the two characters arises from this. So you get a nice summing up quote that if you did want to quote out loud in your story, in your essay, if you wanted to do that, that would work. But additionally, if you wanted to just go ahead and see what the article's arguing, these kinds of quotes can help you. That's really most of what we have to say about traditional critical articles. Again, they tend, the good ones, to talk about what other people have observed with the story, and then maybe establish their own main point about that. That's all really helpful for you because, again, those other authors may be people you can cite as well, but also this will give you a clear take on the story that you can use as an argument to deal with, either by agreeing with it, disagreeing with it, or refining it, which is how you write a good essay for a class like this. Thank you, and happy researching.